what have changed since this evening from any other evening? So what have changed, to continue Amir Rappaport's question, what have changed this year from any other year?
So I will refer to some points or allude to the Brigadier General when he was actually referring to the rules has changed in the cyber domain. And I could not agree more. Yes, the rules have changed in the cyber domain. Specifically, adding to it this pandemic, which we have all experienced last year. All of us have connected online, and we heard some of the statistics that says some of entities have increased their attacks or the attacks against them up to 300% fold on top of that. So that's what really changed.
What do you think, Doctor, the role of government in cybersecurity should be, and how do you implement that in the UAE?
So if I look at from our side, and the UAE digital transformation strategies, as well as all of the ecosystem now trying to build and really work towards that. There is a cybersecurity strategy that focuses on 5 pillars. And some of those pillars, as Dr. Marwan mentioned previously, is the collaboration. Other pillars is the building the human resource or the human factors. Other is the technology and investing on those technical aspects, which is again takes us back to those 3 main aspects in technology: people, technology, and laws or legislations and that. Government need to really work towards those strategies, put a framework of how to collaborate and work between and amongst themselves, or let alone an entity itself. A monitoring technologies that allows them to use that NIST framework from identify, protect, detect, response, and recover. Many of those aspects today are not really up to the level in an entity itself, let alone when it comes to a collaborative efforts of various entities together working in order to build that resiliency.
How do you see the Israeli ecosystem can work with the UAE ecosystem?
So those are really a very good points, and thank you for mentioning all of those great components that the leadership as well as the community here really invested in building, from the academia to the various sectors to the society to many of those aspects. Now, what unique thing that we see the ecosystem from Israel and how they will actually is the stitching between all of those components we have today that are, let's say, a little bit separated in that perspective. Bringing this together, building that academia / public-private type of aspects, continuing towards fulfilling that mission. Maybe we have a very good R&D in specific university, but not all universities. And even in that university, when that R&D is done, there is no continuous of that cycle of where to get that product or build it in order to really be it as a product, something that comes with a patent, something that comes with a copyrighted, where we could later actually even spread it across the whole world. So that ecosystem, taking that from an academia / joint research and development between industries, academia, as well as government, and really taking it further to a real product that allows us to all benefit.
How do you see the next phase of cybersecurity, of what are the next risks that we're going to need to mitigate and need to prepare from, not today, from yesterday?
It's actually not important to know who's attacking us, as far as we defend and really prepare every single aspect that we can defend from. With this digital transformation, there will be many threat landscapes increasing as we go, be it from the IoT, be it from the 5G, be it from any of the AI and the rest of the digital transformation component and services today we have. But nonetheless, with all of those big, and there will be more and more to come in the future, preparing with a real resilient framework and working together towards building that resiliency from people, technology, as well as governings or legislations, that will really help us to approach and really work towards a safe and secure environment. Today in UAE, for example, depending and working towards that digital economy is becoming a real pillar for us all here. And I believe you noticed many of those points as well, and you already shared and helped us in actually continuing towards that digital economy that we are trying to build and make UAE as a hub in that perspective. All of these assets need to be protected. All of these need to be actually, again, resilience of any of such attack if something hit any of this.
This is what you heard now. This is
the
future.
Let me actually, I'll ask you a question here so that, what do you think of a cyber exercise that we could collaborate, at least in some of those sectors, so it will help us in elevate the regional, again, training, mindsets, culture. What do you think of this, sir?
I think you just gave the headline that they're all looking for. I think it's a great idea. I think, first of all, I totally agree, and you are a veteran like me of how things work, really. Without exercise, without practicing, without implementation, it's only theoretical, it's never works. And exercise, in each and every good exercise, you find new breaches, you find new ideas how to correct and close those breaches, and you find new ways how to elevate and raise up the level of cybersecurity.
Alluding to some of the points as well you mentioned here, sir, and mentioning our commercial, dear private sectors, we heard some entities talking about deterrence type of framework. They get, private sector, they get hammered, they get hacked, they get many of those aspects, be it from state or non-state actors. So what do you think from a geopolitical as well as a global aspects, applying some deterrence rules to help save those, again, private sectors who might not be, or they could be actually that strong, but they don't have the means to actually protect themselves. All of their copyrights or all of their assets could be easily gone overnight because of such attacks. So what do you think of that? We heard it in some of the geopolitical type of global aspects as well.
Well, I think that the world is miles away from the right level of deterrence that should be there. Beginning from the problem of attribution. You cannot really point a finger at the attackers. They say it's not me, it's someone that hides behind this server or this IP address. Coming to it's not really state-sponsored all the time, or you cannot prove they're state-sponsored, etc., etc. So deterrence should be holistic approach, but one of the major steps to reach this deterrence is what we're doing now. I think we're under the limelights here. But if we have a virtual limelights all over the world, when somebody attacks Israel or the UAE, they never go, if they're smart enough and want to survive, they don't go directly. So when the attacker goes from wherever they want, they go through India, then through Australia, then through Italy, and only there they hit Israel or UAE. So when we work together, it's not if, it's just a matter of when. We work together and we shed light everywhere. So we work like we work bilaterally. Exchange IOCs, exchange TTPs, best practices, intelligence, whatever needed. We shed the light and remove the darkness away. And that keeps the bad guys in their holes, dug in their holes, and without the competence or capability to get out and attack. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sir.
Thank you.